Hey, and we're live. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Tonight's topic is going to be on EDC, not just the firearm-related part, but everything you carry every day. You know, what would you never leave home without? And if you did leave home without it by accident, how far away would you have to be to make it a point not to go back and get it? So I want to start out by doing introductions. We have Daniel. I guess Daniel's frozen or something.
Yeah, his picture looks frozen.
Yeah,
he looks frozen.
Yeah, we got G here.
Hey, how's it going?
We got G Webs.
Howdy.
Just Dan. Oh.
It's because I'm just a regular guy like you, except not like Quirk. Like
Quirk
everybody
isn't a regular guy.
Yeah. We have Mule Rider here. Guess no introductions from Mule Rider either. And Daniel already gave your introductions here. Thin Blue Line, 1995.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
And of course, me. If you tuned in, you should know who I am. And if not, oh well. So we're going to kind of leave this as an open panel discussion on no left or rights after the introduction. I find those kind of...
In the Mule Rider.
Mule Rider came in late.
Yeah.
You just got major lag or was away from the keyboard. We'll leave this open panel discussion. Please be civil. Please mute yourself when you're not talking, etc. But first off, I just want to get everybody's opinions on EDC. What do you think is the most important EDC item that you have? You know, that's really a difficult question because there are very many things that I don't like leaving home without. But what
I
is the
don't
main
think it's
thing?
that difficult anymore. I think it's a cell phone, hands down.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say cell phone.
Doesn't matter how far away I am, I'll always turn back for my phone.
I mean, you can get help anywhere you go. You can provide assistance to other people better with a cell phone. I mean, there's very little that it can't do. Obviously, it's not the perfect thing, and it's not the only thing, but that'd be my
Even has a
number one.
flashlight app you can get if you really need it.
Yeah, I like how people are saying cell phone. I'm one of the very late converts to a cell phone. I didn't have a cell phone until 2010.
Oh my goodness.
God.
Wow.
Exactly. Never
I
had
didn't
the
either.
need for a cell phone. So, for me, cell phone was not all that important until I got one. Once I got one, I realized you cannot live without a cell phone.
So
I
yeah,
realize how important cell phones are and stuff, but I don't know if I'm just weird every now and then, but sometimes I don't like carrying it just because I'm like, I don't want to have to be 100% of the time accessible all the time, you know? I know it's kind of a weird thought.
I'm the same way. Whenever I have mine, it's normally set on vibrate, and if I don't want to be bothered with it, I just turn it off. But I always have it just in case I do need it.
Yeah, I was going to point. You can always take the battery off if you're worried about the government tracking you.
Well, you're more worried about the government tracking you or being raped and left in some alley. Then that way you want the cell phone to be able to track you, right?
yeah.
Well, with how sexy I am, yeah, that's a constant concern. So my cell phone's always on.
But I say I would still bring it even if I wanted to do something where I didn't want to be bothered, or just either ignore it or turn it off. But having it is important.
Yep, cell phones these days, there's a thing called ignore. You slide it to ignore who's ever calling you, and if somebody's just texting you, throw it on vibrate.
If you have an
That's when
iPhone.
that gets rid of text message noise altogether. So.
Yep. If you have an iPhone, they have Do Not Disturb, so it like mutes everything. It won't even vibrate your phone.
That's a nice feature.
I normally just carry mine, and it's completely muted everything, and just if I need it.
Well, the next question is, how far, just say you did forget your cell phone, how far away from home what you have to be before you decide. And this is driving. You know, you're driving somewhere, not getting on a plane or something like that. How far away would you have to be before you just say, forget about it, it's not worth going home for?
Depends on how long the trip you're going on.
Yeah, I guess. But for most of the time, if I'm leaving the house and I'm already on the road, like a minute away from the house, I won't go back for my cell phone. I don't really care about it that much.
Yeah, I leave mine.
I always go back for it, just in case
I'll
on that
go
off
back
chance that
for
you
it.
do need it.
Yeah, it's about 15 minutes. If I'm more than 15 minutes away from my house, everything's staying at home. But then again, I can get to almost every place I go within 15 minutes.
Yeah, I could go to the other side of town here in 15 minutes.
Yeah, and trust me, I've left my cell phone at home when I've gone on, 3-hour road trips before because, I lived without one for such a long time that I still don't feel it's 100% necessary to have with me, but it's not worth the cost, the extra gallon of gas to turn home and get it and get back to where I was.
How much is it? When's the last time you had to walk, 15 miles to get gas?
Exactly. I was just going to bring up a similar
Yeah, exactly.
In that situation.
Or worse, 15 miles to get to a phone to call somebody so that you can, solve whatever your issue is.
My main thing is like a car accident. You get into a wreck or something, and you don't have a phone.
What are you gonna take pictures with? You need it. You don't need it until you need it.
Or
And
you
the other person is in the wreck is taking pictures, and you're sitting there without anything.
Yeah. Or you
Yeah.
come upon an accident where they may have a phone, but they don't know where it is because it got thrown somewhere in the car and nobody can find it. You make a call on their behalf.
Well, that's a good point, but then why not just carry a cheap disposable type, I forget the name, the burner phones.
Yeah.
Just have a cheap one in your car, charged.
Yeah, but those,
take pictures with.
Because those are cheap, and they don't usually hold the charge very long.
because those are cheap. They don't hold their charge very well, and I've looked into them because I was looking into that, and a lot of the value of the prepaid cards that you fill them with actually expire after 30 days or so. So they're not sustainable, and you have to kind of keep using them every
Well,
month.
the emergency situation.
But yeah, the 911 will always work.
Yeah,
Always work. Even if your phone's disconnected.
even if your phone's disconnected, it will not work on a home phone, a landline, but it will work on a cell phone.
If I didn't live in an area where it got below freezing every winter, I would consider that as an option. But because it freezes and that destroys batteries, it's not really a practical option.
Now, I will say that I had a burner in my car just for that situation, just because I did forget it once, and I'm like, I'll just have a burner in my car, and I totally forgot about it. And I was cleaning up my car. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to charge this. As soon as I started charging, I realized it actually had 3/4 of a charge still left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was 2 years sitting in the car without a charge. Just off.
That's surprising.
That's excellent.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and it did have the ability to take pictures if I did get in an accident, etc.
Now-
So
Was that also sitting in the car over the winter?
yes, for 2 years.
And your garage is unheated?
That is correct.
Wow. I'm really blown away.
Yeah, it was, I think, a $20 phone that I just kept for that situation. It was one that I tried when I was trying out different services. And I should explain why I never had a cell phone real quick. It's because the service in my area, because of the tree cover and location, is spotty with almost every carrier. So it wasn't until then that they really had coverage in my area to actually get service. And there's still go half a block, and I still can't get service in some areas. And I live just outside of, that's a major city. Preference that. But now, now that almost everybody agrees the cell phone is the top, and Ralph, do you agree with that one?
What, the cell phone is the first
most
thing to take?
Yeah.
No.
No, you don't. Okay, I would like to hear your opinion.
I mean, if you can legally, I'd feel much more like if I forgot one at the house, my gun or my cell phone, I would be glad. I'd be more happy that I had my gun with me than like I wouldn't. I don't leave without it.
I would be the same way.
I've left without my cell phone. Is my point. I'm like,
Actually,
yeah,
I think
okay, I can make it, wherever I'm going and back with. I'll be all right without a phone.
But do you live in an area where you're never that far from a service station?
No, I mean, I'll be along a major road, or whatever. I'll hike. I mean, I can hit. I mean, I'll figure it out.
I mean,
There was a time. I'd rather not hike without a gun.
I mean, I could end up walking 15, 20 miles depending on where I'm at to get to the closest town.
Phones break too. They're not infallible.
Oh no, I'm just saying in the example of a car breaking down.
Actually, I think your wallet should be number one, especially if you're carrying a gun, or you should have your wallet.
Well,
So
It's controversial because I'm going to
No
say
one's really said it, but
an issue.
car keys normally help when you're trying to drive. You don't want to forget your
Well,
car keys.
I'm leaving the wallet and the phone keys as obvious because if you're driving, you have to have your driver's license with you.
Hold on.
Keep it, no.
Hey,
You have to have a driver's license, and you're supposed to have it with you.
Well,
But this isn't Germany. You don't have to have our papers.
in the state of Wisconsin, if you do not have a driver's license on you, you are cited with
When you're driving a vehicle.
yes.
Yeah, not when you're just walking around.
Not
I just-
everybody
no.
driving around.
The conversation started with how far would you be driving away from your house? Would you turn back for what your number one item is? So we are talking
I'll
about driving.
still drive without my wallet. I don't need a CCW, and even before we didn't need a CCW, we didn't need a CCW. We had the Dog Ate My CCW Act, which said as long as you have a CCW, you don't have to have it when you carry. And as far as driver's license, if I forget that, I don't care. I have a driver's license. I have insurance. The worst they'll do is write you a ticket for not having it on you. And then you show it to them, and then they say sorry, and they throw away the ticket, and it's not even to mark against your record. So for me, I mean, a wallet's nice and everything, but I definitely want a phone and a gun before a wallet.
Yeah. I mean, if I don't have my carry permit on me, I'll be in cuffs. Now,
Yeah,
because I'm
me too.
required to have it.
So wallet's definitely going to be different for each person. Like in Wisconsin, it's a major that if you're concealed carrying and you do not have your driver's license and your concealed carry permit, then you are written up a ticket for having a misdemeanor. Even though if you can prove 100% that it's you with something else, you still get written up with that ticket, a misdemeanor, and your gun is confiscated until you can prove it.
Yeah. I mean,
Here.
Well, those are laws that are residuals of the fear of other people owning firearms, so hopefully you guys will get rid of those too. That's how the progression in here, and I think in Florida went to get, well, at least except for the Constitution, you can get the thing that the next law that says you don't have to have a permit with you, or at least you're not in trouble if you forget to have a permit with you.
Yeah.
Because it's think about something bump in the night, you go outside, turns out the craziness is happening down the street, you bring a firearm with you. Are you in violation of law? Yeah, technically, I guess, but is that something that might happen? I mean, who's going to grab their wallet also?
If you're open carrying, you're fine in Wisconsin. It's when you conceal carry.
Same as for us in Washington.
So some people think the wallet's most important. Some people think the phone. So that's going to be a tough one.
well, I view the wallet and the firearm as one thing together. I have to have the gun. I have to have the bullets. I have to have for me, I have to have that one document, which just so happens to be in my wallet.
Yeah, and I think most of us are kind of programmed to, just to grab your wallet on the way out.
Wallet.
At least I know I am. I mean, I don't go anywhere without it. It's always like, do I have it?
Wallet, phone, keys.
All right. Well, I was going to say, well,
It's your only checklist. It's keys, wallet,
they-
watch,
Not-
knife, gun,
Well, that's not
flashlight.
everything.
Ralph has a legal pad with his list written down on it.
all right. We know you earned everybody's first and kind of seconds, but the second thing that you're always going to bring, if you don't have your phone, or in Ralph and Mule Riders example, their firearm. What is next for you?
Knife.
Multi-tool, something like that.
I have a Swiss Army knife or some kind of multi-tool on my keychain, so that's already with my keys. But the next thing for me is a knife.
If I'm having my wallet with me, I've got a little tool in there that will serve as a knife and a little multi-tool. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it will serve in a pinch to do a lot of things. Even though it's not the greatest thing in the world, it's a lot of things. So for me, it's a flashlight, because what happens at night? That's a major thing for me. It's a flashlight.
You turn on the lights.
No, if I'm out and I get a freaking flat tire, and I don't have a flashlight to be able to see what the hell I'm doing, I'm in big trouble.
Now, I do have one of those little Streamlight Nanos. I mean, it's not really a flashlight, but at least you can see the nuts and bolts on the tire.
Yep, it's something that helps you see what you're doing, because if you're fumbling around in the dark, and this is a major thing in my area, there are not a whole lot of streetlights, so you're out there in the dark. You're relying on car to kind of spread a little bit of light with the head beams up front, but it doesn't really cast light behind you.
Well, yeah, think of just putting the jack in the proper place. Otherwise, you're going to put a jack right through the floor of your your rear part of your car.
Yep.
You put that jack in the wrong location and just start jacking it. So, I mean, so it's just even a little bit of light, to get the jack in the correct location, and then to
Jack.
Yep. That did not come out right. I was trying not to laugh, but I saw Daniel laughing, and I was like.
And then make it easier to locate the bolts to crack them loose.
The nuts?
My wife was sweet. She got me a one of those combination strobe flashlight club things, and that's always in the car. So I can blind them, knock them out, change my tire, and get out of there.
In my car, I still have a pair of jumper cables, but I still carry something. One of those, I forget who makes it. There's a couple companies that make them, but I can jump it from a battery that I carry in my trunk. I don't have to rely on another car to jump my own car.
Oh yeah, it's like a portable battery, right? Kind
Yes.
of thing. Okay, yeah, I've seen those at Costco.
And it also has a light on it. And it also has a little DC plug in case you've got a little 12-volt something to plug in there, like charge up your cell phone or something. But I still carry my cables, because I don't have that. Just because it says it's ready to go, but it's minus 20 outside, is it really ready to go? Just because I check the indicator and it says it is, that doesn't give me a warm, fuzzy feeling. Maybe it's just because it's relatively new to the automotive consumer market that I don't trust it yet. But obviously I bought it, so.
Well, I bought a Harbor Freight version of those, and it didn't last, but I don't know, a number of months with the Arizona, like behind the seat of a truck in the Arizona heat.
Yeah, heat is actually harder on a battery than cold weather is. Just in case anybody out there didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I bring it in the house once every quarter, and put it on the charger. Then the next morning, take it off, put it back in the car for the next 3 months.
Now, we're talking a lot about cars for some reason, but does everybody have AAA or some equivalent of?
Through my insurance company.
Yeah, through my insurance.
Something through my insurance, I think. I don't have State Farm explicitly.
Yeah, but they'll get a wrecker to come tow my car.
Oh, well, now I feel like a sucker for paying for AAA if my insurance will do it. But
I got
AAA, and I like having it.
It's just a few bucks extra a year for me to have it on my insurance. So
I think it's like pay $100 something for the fanciest AAA there is, and that means they'll come out like 5 times and bring me gas or jump the car, do pretty much anything that I would have done when I was a kid.
Well, don't you do a fair amount of driving though, or?
A bit, enough that with an old enough car at least that I figure I don't feel like walking 15 miles to the nearest gas station if that's the deal, or having to. Mainly, I don't like having to arrange for a tow truck. Just out
Well,
in the middle of nowhere, trying to call each tow truck company, off my phone or something. If I'm in the middle of nowhere, where one call to AAA, it gets a tow truck out there, no matter
yeah.
where I am.
Just don't ever get in the car with Ralph, because apparently he likes walking 15 miles.
Yeah, he's crazy. But I mean, I sort of feel like old lady because I would have laughed at myself if I was a kid saying to get AAA, but I don't know. Now that I'm older, or whatever, I figure it's
Well,
better to
you
pay
can
$10
also
a month or something crazy than have to ever walk or worry about just something dumb happening and having to spend half a day dealing with just the time it takes to walk to wherever it is to get a phone, and then okay, now meet me at this gas station, and then wonder what's going on with your vehicle. I can just basically, as long as my cell phone works, make one phone call, sit with my vehicle, make sure everything's good to go. They be with my vehicle as I shove it on a wrecker, then take it to wherever it is I need to go.
I mean, you can't predict the time of day, nor can you predict the season that all of a sudden your car is going to decide to take a dump.
Yeah, exactly.
For you it's winter. For us, for you it's summer, but for us it's the middle of winter. But it can go anytime.
Having a car go in the middle of summer while you're out, it's not nearly as bad here.
Right.
Than when it's, you're basically in fear for your life just trying to be outside changing a freaking tire because the wind's blowing so hard.
Well, the main
10
thing like
minutes
now,
ago.
changing a tire now would be like making waffles out of your knees. Like the ground's like 1,000 degrees.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that in Arizona where you're at, it's 100 degrees outside. You can easily die from heat stroke. Then that's something we could talk about too, because each person's different here. This is kind of a car, so we're talking about the cars here. I'm going to take it off topic a little bit. What is most important to you to have in your car in that situation, and being seasonally prepared too as well. So since we're in the middle of summer right now, we'll first talk about summer. Is there anything that you have to have in your car at all times?
Water.
Water.
I have
Water, jumper cables, change of clothes.
Yeah, like Daniel, a complete change of clothes, including emergency clothing for all seasons, in case I don't get in there to change it.
What's that for? If you rape or murder and get blood all over yourself, you got to change your clothes.
Yeah, there you go.
You never know when you need to slay somebody.
Contractor
No,
bags.
I guess I can understand. When I was a kid, I used to carry around a set of overalls, but I never used them, so I guess I quit carrying them, and that's why I just wondered, do you guys ever use your change of clothes?
No, but it's literally, because I'm in a rural area, if I have to get out and go through snow and I'm not dressed for it, I want to be able to get into a pair of dry socks and dry shoes as quickly as possible.
That makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
A change of clothes takes up like almost no space in your trunk anyway, so it's like a small little backpack. It's nothing.
It's like half.
No, I hear you. Yeah, like I say, I did for a long time too. When I used to live where there was winter, I would carry like winter stuff all the time, just because you don't want to be stuck without a hat or mittens or something. Especially if you got more than one person in the car, and you're changing the tire, and you don't care about having gloves on, but they might be getting really super cold in there. But I guess I just never really ended up using them myself because I was a dumb kid and I didn't care if I ruined my clothes, I guess. And then once I moved out to where there's no winter, I forgot about that.
Yep. I'd say.
I do not keep spare clothes in my car at all.
Well, the other reason for spare clothes is if I am on the side of the road in the winter, I can put more clothes on if I'm cold. If for some reason I have heat issues.
Yeah, for me in winter, it's blankets and towels in the car.
Right. Well, I also have a blanket, and I got a hoodie back there. I've got, in addition to a shirt and pants and socks and underwear and all that, shoes.
So I carry a pair of tennis shoes, a pair of waterproof boots, and always a change of clothes, like a poncho, and like every vehicle. And old
like a
cell
poncho
phones.
like Rambo, where it's basically just a piece of burlap with a hole in it and then a piece of extension cord?
Not quite.
No,
But
that'd be pretty hardcore.
I try to keep an old cell phone. That's why I was thinking about it later. there's an old cell phone in each, pretty much each vehicle in the glove box because they'll always dial 911. So
Because when the batteries go dead, you buy a new cell phone.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, they have those emergency phones that take one like lithium AA battery.
I mean, you don't even have to
It's
do
kind
That
that.
would be kind of cool.
Just don't even
it's kind of,
get a cheap one.
yes.
I keep.
But I
all
guess they could
emergency-
make something that took like AA batteries that would plug into like the cell phone charger. They probably have something like that, huh? To charge any phone or something.
Yeah, they have stuff like that. I mean, as long as you can find a USB cable, there's tons of USB power bricks. Those are really cheap.
I try
But
to
also-
keep an emergency medical kit in the car too.
Yeah. And also, yeah, and for winter for me, this is very important for anybody that lives in a cold weather state because keep yourself a frickin' lighter and a candle. You know, whether it be a lighter or even a frickin' matchstick. So, you know, in your car. And the reason I say that, one candle, although it won't be pleasant, will keep you warm enough from freezing to death.
Yeah, I
Is that
never
because you
thought of
prefer to light a candle than to curse the darkness, of course?
Yep. It's amazing.
Also,
Inside your sealed car, one candle, although it's not going to be comfortable, will keep you alive. That's why I also have blankets and towels. The reason I have towels is you can wrap towels around your extremities really easily, where it's very difficult with a blanket.
I say snow chains, and I keep snow chains and a snow brush in my car too.
You know, I'm
You
always
live in
going
a
back.
great mountain state.
I'm always going back and forth in the forest roads, and so I've got an onboard air compressor in my truck, and I've got a tire patching kit for that, and I always have come along and tow ropes and stuff like that just to get unstuck if I ever, because there's no cell phone service out there, so.
It's worth noting too when you said snow chains, I was like, uh-oh, I definitely have to deal with that. But then I'm thinking back to an elk trip where we just drove north in this state, same state and everything. I just went up to where like Huck lives, up in the air to where like Huck lives, and north in the state. And because I'm an idiot and I'm down here, I ruined that truck with not having any antifreeze in it. It just solid, froze solid overnight, and needed chains for sure. So even if you don't live in a place that needs them all the time, you could easily drive to a place. That was like a tank of gas away, and I was in a place where I needed chains.
Oh, this just happened?
Oh, no, this was years ago.
Oh, okay.
But when I had lived out here long enough to not worry about putting antifreeze, because you don't need to put antifreeze in a car out here in the summer. You don't have to worry about it freezing. But you sure do. It does freeze quickly when you take it up to the cold.
Yeah, I want to something up.
Overheating, because it's also anti-boil.
Yeah, it's got a higher boiling point.
Yep.
I don't know. I never worried about it out here, at least.
Yeah, that's what keeps your car cool too. Antifreeze is not just keeping your. It's actually called coolant. It's actually not called antifreeze. It's actually called coolant.
Depending on what your thermostat is set to, if you have a 195, obviously you're going to have less problems. But some cars will come with like a 210 thermostat.
Well, I think we end up pulling our thermostats most of the time out here, but I don't want to get into a car talk.
Okay, well.
No, it's okay as long as you keep the conversation going.
Just tying a bow on the package.
I hear you, but we left into cars and we didn't even get past what.
Well, yeah, everybody's talking about it, so I wanted to kind of get that over the system. But I wanted to mention one thing here. Thin Blue Line, Tino here, said he negotiates the problem by just living in Florida. You are completely wrong there. I've been to Florida in the middle of summer there, although it may not be 107. It's like 99 and 100% humidity. You lose so much.
No, I was talking about the cold when you all were talking about the cold.
Oh, okay.
Having to wrap yourselves up in that. No.
Cold,
Yeah, it gets hot down here.
Coldest ever gets in Florida is like freaking 50 or something. That's like the coldest.
It's rare we get like 40s, 30s.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, we'll go back to what you actually be on your person every day now that we've got the first couple lined up. What will be next that you're going to be carrying? Hope you remember your answers because I don't.
I was saying knife or multi-tool.
Okay, that's your second or your third actually. We kind of figured that one out.
Yeah.
for me, it's a toss-up, and I might have to go with a knife because I love knives, but toss-up between two things, and the next one will be the number 4 here for me, the knife. Just because I see myself, and I find myself using a knife a lot more often than I ever thought I would before I really started carrying. They come in really super handy. Before, I'm talking about a bigger knife. Before I would carry a little Swiss Army pen knife. That was with me every day, but now I carry a full-size knife. So I use that a lot more for doing a bunch of different things. I just end up reaching for my knife. Whether it be opening a package I got in the mail or, having to, cut some stuff. What really annoys me when I find a string on some of my clothes that's loose. First thing I take out is my knife and trim that string back, Come on, other people's got to carry more than just two things.
The other two things, and it's kind of a toss-up, is between I carry pepper spray for dogs and animals.
You just named my 4th.
And a toss-up between that and my knife, but my knife also has a glass breaker and a seatbelt cutter on it. It's not just a knife. I mean, it's more than that. And I tried to bring both with me, especially for exercise. I do a lot of walking, so the chance of me running into a dog happens often. And when I walk in the evenings, the chance of me running into, whether it be a raccoon that's just waking up for the night, or a possum, or something like that, grows exponentially. And that's my biggest concern is dogs off the leash, so to speak, that I don't recognize, and literally various vermin.
Coyotes.
Yeah, luckily I don't have to deal with that kind of problem.
Yeah, well, we get coyotes just outside my town.
All the coyotes I've seen will run away as soon as they see somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear them from where I live, because I live in a small town, so I can hear them because I'm only about a quarter mile from the outside of town, so I can hear them out there, but I never see them.
Coyotes are a completely different creature at night, though.
I got so many coyotes right by where I live, probably about 50 yards from me. You can hear them yapping all night long, like chihuahuas.
All right. People haven't chimed in yet. Thin Blue?
I was away. What was the question?
I just carry a knife. I'm copying something to post in here.
Yeah. What's the next thing that's most important for you?
Man, that's a toss-up between a flashlight and a multi-tool. Because I kind of have a flashlight thing on my keys, but it's not exactly the greatest. So.
Can I make an observation?
Yeah.
And this may reflect my age, is that no one has mentioned a watch.
Oh yeah, that's just something I have all the time.
I don't even own watches anymore. Cell
Yeah,
phone.
no, I just use my phone
cell
or
phone.
the clock in the car.
I view a watch like a t-shirt. It's just something. I'll be wearing clothes all the time. I'll be wearing my watch.
Right.
My cell phone has.
Always hated watches though, even before phones. Like
Really?
couldn't wear
Yep.
a watch.
Yeah, I mean,
I always have a watch on, and I don't consider it a part of my EDC because I consider it part of my clothing because I'm not leaving my house without my shirt. I'm not leaving my house without my watch.
Yeah, I have left my house without a watch. I mean, my phone has a watch and a flashlight, which is why the flashlight doesn't rank that high on my list. But yeah, I mean, I usually wear a watch, but there are times where I'll go out and I'll forget it, and I just whatever. I check my phone most of the time anyways. The watch is just kind of there for decoration.
And now I'm gonna, since kind of going, Daniel stole my thunder there with the pepper spray. Do the exact same thing because I'd rather not have to use a firearm on an animal when I can just deter it with some pepper spray. So that would have been my next one, but
Yeah, definitely the pepper spray.
yeah, and I think for my last one here, and it's what I consider my my everyday rotation type thing. The firearm is actually last on my list. in this situation. One, because of the area I live in. It's very, low crime. There's not a whole lot of bad things going on. Doesn't mean I don't need to protect myself. But I'm saying that the chances I'm going to actually have to use my firearm in my area is super slim, and it's going to be less than the national average, which again is very, very slim. A firearm's used roughly 21, if I remember, 21 to 2,400 times a day. Think about that at a population of 350 million. That's not a whole lot. I've never broken down the digits.
The whole point about why we prioritize things, and I think I'm just pointing out something, but like how we prioritize where a handgun, where a knife, where a light cell phone come on our list is like how likely it's a combination between how likely we're going to need to use it and how much we want to be able to be prepared for that situation. So even if the likelihood of getting into a conflict where I'm going to need my gun is like the slimmest thing, close to none, but I still choose, like, I don't want to be unprepared for that situation. That could be my number one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, we're ranking priority. Just because we say things are higher priority doesn't mean we're not going to carry these things. Doesn't mean we're still not going to, even if something's like number 7 on my list, I'm not going to go back to my house if I leave home without it and I forget.
Yeah, I'm listing stuff I will come back to my house for within my normal everyday driving distance. So, I've been known to leave my house without my firearm and come back and get it within, I forgot my gun, and 5 minutes away from my house, turn around and come back and get it. But it's the reason I kind of bring this up, and I want other people's input. You said it very well there, Mule Team or Mule Rider, excuse me. Sorry, there's too many mules in this world. Is because we're not gun crazy, looking out there to shoot every bad guy we come across. We're not gonna be out there being vigilantes and everything like that. We got our priorities, and firearms are not on the list of everything that we have to carry.
But the problem is, if you forget your gun at home, then you don't feel like less godlike, less more powerful over other people.
Well, you and your 20 guns you carry on you every day.
That's still a bad Marine.
Yep, and the reason we carry our firearms is because even though there's a very, very little chance that we'll ever have to use our firearm, we're taking responsibility for our own lives, our own protection. And because it's our second earth, well, it's our right as citizens, law-abiding citizens of this country to be able to do so.
I carry mine every day just because you're seeing every day stuff happening. I know the media pushes it a lot, but incident could happen anywhere, and I want to make sure that if I'm with my family or I've got that extra little bit up on.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's your chances of winning the lottery is actually right up there with actually having to use your firearm. It's pretty dang close percentage-wise, if I remember correctly from the stats I looked at. I think winning the lottery is slightly less likely.
Probably struck by lightning too. That's very rare.
So it's the way that the way at least I look at a firearm. It's the way I look at carrying too. The likelihood of me needing my knife or using my knife or pepper spray or any of my other items is a lot more likely than in my firearm. We know that Geowobs takes and uses his Glock to do everything, from chipping ice to squashing bugs. Geobs just uses it for everything. So, is there anything else that you carry that nobody else has mentioned?
Well, I carry a taser instead of the pepper spray you guys talk about.
There we go. I was hoping somebody would bring up a taser.
And I would definitely carry one if in my state it was allowed. It's not.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. In my state, it is allowed with a concealed carry license, but getting one's pretty dang difficult where I live.
Yeah, you can't carry anything here in Washington.
What do they run as far as cost?
You can
Oh,
get
I
it
think
out
they're
cheap.
about 300-ish. And I'm not talking a stun gun, because I don't recommend a stun gun at all, but I do recommend a taser, which is a different thing than a stun gun. And they're only
Yeah.
available from the one company, and there's the military version, and then there's the C2 civilian version, or the non-police version, and that's around 300.
Do those need periodic inspection or anything, or how does that work?
Yes. So you want to make sure the battery is going to be still good to go, so you take the cartridge out and just run it once in a while, make sure your battery's still charged. It'll shoot the projectiles 50 times off of a battery pack. So it's not a big thing, but you want to make sure it's good to go every occasionally. And then the doors on the part that opens up and shoots out the wires, those doors will eventually go bad, especially when I'm like me, I carry it a lot. So sometimes I carry it in the holster and sometimes I don't. And those doors take the abuse of just being in a pocket. So eventually I have to change out that thing, probably that cartridge, like once a year.
Do you practice the taser like you would a carry gun?
I do.
Okay.
Because I've got a shop that'll give me a new one whenever whenever they want to sell one. They'll let me shoot off one of my, or let the person who's interested in the taser or the new owner. If I happen to be around and I hang out at gun shops a lot, I'll usually offer them, and this will happen at multiple shops, honestly. This will happen with anybody with a taser, is if they're going to shoot one off just to let somebody practice, I grab their practice one and then let mine, give them mine, because the one I have isn't my original ones anymore. But then I do have a couple that are mine that have the serial numbers with my name on them.
It's good to practice with one too, because if you've never shot a taser, it's surprised you the first time you do it because there's a big pop.
Yep. And then it shoots one out with the laser, and then the second one goes down. So they give you a target you can play with. But again, I don't have to pull the trigger to know what's going on. So you learn a little bit every time you watch somebody shoot one. And then I can't count how many times I've been able to shoot one. So it's not that difficult to master. But after you've seen it a few times, you get the hang of it.
How does it work
those
with
barbs are a bitch to get out of you before you get back in you.
Yeah, GOS, how does it work with the serial numbers? Are those registered and tracked and stuff, or?
Yes and no. You don't have to have them registered. You can just buy them, or when you buy them, you can, go to their website or whatever and register them to you.
Okay, but it's not like a law. It's not a law that actually dictates that you have to have it registered to you.
Correct. No law, just the ability to if you want to.
Okay.
Is there a reason you would? Do you have it?
I am more comfortable when I have one in there that's mine, so I try to keep one of mine in there. But then, like I say, every once in a while, like when mine broke, I eventually let them get shot, and then I carried around the one that wasn't mine. But I do have a couple that are mine, but I guess I don't keep track of it anymore. But the fact that it's going off, that creates a crime scene, and they're going to have a serial number. So even though they're not associated to me, I guess I can still prove that I shot the taser off, unless the other person happens to have a taser and shot it at me.
What's a good resource that we could look at to get into like the taser stuff? Like, is there an online resource that we can like compare different models for, or is it all just local stuff?
There is only one model of taser, so there's like the colors. You can get a different color. Okay. And I think they even got rid of like the options when you buy it, because there used to be like, you could buy just the taser, or you could buy it without the laser even. And they got rid of all that because it was confusing to people. Yeah. And Taser, T-A-Z-E-R, or whatever it is, that is a company, and it's like Kleenex or something. People just say taser, and they mean stun gun, that you can just get at any gun show or any gun shop for $35. which is just a capacitor that goes off. All that does is hurt your skin a little bit and doesn't even work half the time if you got clothes on. So it's not to Taser's, I'm just assuming this, it's not to Taser's advantage to have multiple models because they don't want people saying which Taser. That lends itself to think that a Taser is a type of piece of equipment, not a specific piece of equipment made by a specific company.
Okay.
You know,
There's
kind of like saying
actually a
lever
couple-
action compared to Marlin.
There's a couple different models right now.
Yeah, I'm actually
there's
looking
the
it up.
civilian model, and then there is another one a civilian can buy that shoots 2 of them out. But since they come out with that one, it's the price of what you used to have to pay for the consumer one, and the other ones come down way in price. I mean, you can get one really cheap now.
Oh, so what's a C2 cost now?
God, the other day I was looking at one, $1,200.
Now you're looking at
That's going to multiple
police ones.
sites and looking just to check out, because you can buy.
We're talking about different things. A C2 is the one that I have in my pocket, and that doesn't cost $1,200. It costs like $300.
Right.
Yeah,
But
$399
years
right now.
ago, it did cost quite a bit more.
No, there's a police version. It looks like a little gun. It's black. It has a trigger guard and stuff. That police model has always cost more. And there's a civilian version of the police model, and like there's an animal version of that. And then there's, I guess you're saying there's one that shoots 2 now, like a double shot model. But those are different than the thing I'm talking about. Mine looks like a Star Trek phaser or
Yeah.
some sort of a weird neck massager.
And that's all you need, really.
Yeah, because it lasts for 30 seconds instead of like 5 or whatever. Cops have to pulse theirs because they have a different set of circumstances. They deal, they're sworn officers. They're using a taser for a different set of situations than we are. So ours are run for 30 seconds at a time, and ours shoot less distance, I think.
Yeah, $400 on Taser.com.
400, really?
Yeah, $399.
400.
Yeah,
you
just
can
Yeah,
get
and
those.
that's because they give you a practice one now, and they give you a DVD and a holster and everything.
Yep, holster, practice cartridge, and it looks like 2 live ones.
So when you have to replace those cartridges annually, what does that run to do your annual replacement?
$25 a cartridge, basically. So it's worth shooting it instead of just throwing it away.
Oh yeah.
Get the practice out of it. And the cartridges, I hope they don't go bad. I don't think they expire. My first ones are pretty old by now, but like I said, I just leave those in the drawer where the original
I was going
stuff.
to say,
I mean-
I've got some of the older cartridges that I've had for a while, and when I've gotten them out, they've worked just fine. So I think that's just a liability issue with them. They just want to make sure they work.
As long
Oh
as
no, the reason I end up getting rid of them after years is just because I use them. I wear it around so much that the doors break off on the front. Just being in my pocket, the doors will break off. The things that hold the barbs in.
So if you leave
Really
it
just a
in
dust
original packaging, and let's say you buy a couple as a spare and just leave them in your closet, is there any degradation to the doors?
Right, no. Because they come, when you buy the cartridge by itself, before you put it in your taser, it's in a little carrier rack holder thingy that prevents any damage from it. So you could still have it in a bag or in a drawer or whatever, and it can bounce around, but it's got this protective bumper, sort of like putting a phone into a phone case, so that it's good to go no matter when you pull it out of there.
So the year is only once you start wearing it or using it daily.
I just say that to try to put it in time frame. I have no idea how long it actually takes. It takes for me to figure out, like, usually I'll be somewhere and we'll have the discussion of tasers and I'll pull mine out to show somebody, and then because I'm supposed to run the thing once a month anyway, to make sure the battery's still good, and I've had it long enough now that I have no idea how long the battery's been in there. So whenever I think about it, like, this should be an indication I should take it apart right now and run it. But I'll pull the cartridge out and then pull the button on it, and it's just like when you go to a gun show, it'll make that noise that tasers make, or that stun guns make, when it just arcs across.
Right.
So I'll do that once in a while, and whenever I do that, I'll look at the cartridge because it's in my hand, and then at some point I'll figure out, oh, these doors are about to fall off, and then I'll just usually let the person who I'm showing it shoot the thing, and then throw one of my new ones in there.
Now, is that something that you can pocket carry, or?
Oh yeah, it weighs nothing. It weighs like a remote control. It just weighs like an empty piece of plastic. You don't even feel the battery weight, and it's kind of weird shape. If you've seen the shape, it looks like a weird neck massager or something. So it fits in any pocket and easy to grab and orientate in your hand. There's no trigger guard or anything, so it doesn't scare anybody. It really just looks like who knows what it looks like. I mean, it's just going to melt into any environment it's in. If it's sitting a bunch of months or amongst your if you're traveling, it'll just look like some sort of shaver or something. If it's with your electronic gear, it'll look like a pager. If it's with guns, it'll just look like some sort of reloader. I mean, it doesn't look like anything. So
If anything, it's kind of similar shape to an AR mag. Think about it as an AR mag. It's got that. It's like comes up and then it kind of angles over a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't look
got a
like
slide.
but it's even less aggressive.
Yeah, I do have to say here, I was looking at the prices. This is from Taser's site. The cartridges are $35 a piece. They sell them in 2-packs, and looking
I
at
got them in
the
4-packs and they were $25, but it's been a while since I bought them. Maybe.
yeah, 4-packs are the 4-packs $120. So they come out at $30 a piece. But I was looking at the Taser, and they offer you two versions. One's 300 and one's 400. Get the $400 one because you are getting that much better of a deal than buying the stuff separately. Because you get an extra cartridge, you get a training cartridge, you get the holster.
Yep.
And all that adds up to being over $100. And you get a practice target too. I don't know what. That's just a piece of paper to paper, but
You're talking about the basic.
It's like the piece of paper that they wrap like a. Oh, what am I trying to think of? It's like tinfoil on one side and wax paper on the other. So it's more fun when you hit it with a taser because it arcs across and stuff. So it's more than just a piece of paper.
cool. Definitely worth the value if you're looking into one, and
That's.
definitely I am.
I think they could call that the basic versus the gold edition.
Yeah, basic versus gold.
Well, I'm not going to defend their marketing because I don't know.
Go ahead.
It probably should be a little cheaper and stuff, but I do like the concept of being able to stop any mammal and then be able to say sorry. And same thing, it's like the same concept as pepper spray, but less messy.
Yeah, and this is right through Taser's site. So Taser, I don't know if I can't do the pricings here, but I don't know if the prices are different in retail shops. If they're able to have sales or able to cut deals.
From what I've seen, they're pretty static.
Yeah, they're pretty standard.
Yeah, I just don't know if they offer your retail store might offer 20% off as part of a promotion or something like that. So always keep that in mind.
Well, I got my second taser. It's still in the package, new, never been even opened from somebody who didn't want it. So I got one really cheap that way.
Those tasers, once you shoot it, right, and it's actually electrocuting your target, like you can take the cartridge out and walk away, right? It goes for like 30 seconds or something, if I remember.
Well, if you're going to do that, and they encourage you to do that, if you're like a little old lady or something, and you have to use it, they encourage you to do that, but you shut the whole unit down, not just the cartridge part.
Oh, the entire gun down. Okay.
You
and then
reload that thing quickly?
You can, but not in that situation where it's going for 30 seconds and you had to use it, and it's doing its job, and you need to get out of town. Then they want you to just drop it and boogie, and then they're going to replace the unit for you. So you don't worry about the $300. Just leave it there. But if it's a situation like me and I'm walking my dog and I got a taser, a dog runs up and I taser both the dogs, I figure that's what'll probably happen is I'll shoot and both the dogs will be biting each other, right? And then I'll shoot them and each dog will take a barb probably. At least that's what the situation I envision. Then they'll probably disconnect from each other. They'll quit biting each other. They'll both sit down and be like, I just got tasered. And then I could easily slap a new cartridge in there before that other dog got up.
Okay. No, I just got a quick question. Can you also use it as without fire projectiles, or after the projectile's been fired, be able to use it that way?
Yeah, then it's just a stun gun, I guess.
Okay.
I differ with, I don't know. I thought that they told me that it's still a different type of stun gun than a regular stun gun, but you can still use it as a contact taser, basically.
Cool.
So do you only have to get one probe in to get the effect?
No, it's electricity. You need both.
Well, okay, that's.
They don't have to be in anything, though. They just need to be near the guy. The barb's only there so that it sticks into like a winter coat.
Okay, well,
it's
I was
not designed to stick into meat or anything.
Of one in one dog and one in the other, and I wasn't.
They become one when they're biting each other, I figure.
Oh,
I'm saying I think it'll still be effective if the two dogs are going at it to the point where I can't. I mean, I got a Doberman. There's no way if my Doberman and some stray pit bull are going at it, I'm not gonna be able to reach my hands in there and just separate two, 880 pounds of dog from each other.
Right.
So at that point, they're going to be so into it that if I hit them, I just have to hit the massive mammal's muscle, and it'll affect them. Just like if you watch the thing where somebody will hold one barb of a taser, and then, like, I don't know what they've done, I think up to 8 people, and then a guy on the other end will hold the other taser, then they turn it on, and all 8 people just drop.
oh I see that. Wow.
So it works like that. So when they do it with somebody who's just doing it, they'll put both of the probes on the same person so that the crossover is just through them and not through the people holding them up.
Yeah.
But if you purposely put it through a bunch of people, it'll drop like 8 people. A regular taser. There's a animal taser that'll drop like an elephant.
Yeah, and the reason that works is you're completing a circuit in that situation.
They tell me it's like a defibrillator. It's the closest thing they could describe it to as a defibrillator.
I didn't know if it was a DC or an AC type device.
DC.
I don't think they tell you, but it's probably DC.
Gotta be easy.
It's DC because it's operated off a battery. You don't have AC off a battery.
Well, yeah, but you could have a converter in there.
Yeah, they could alternate, but it would lose. I mean, they'd have to have
Yeah.
alien science in there to do that.
Yeah.
But it
No,
does pulse. Like I say, it's supposedly different than just sending straight old electric through something.
yeah, having shocked myself with my little homemade stun gun, electric fly swatter, it's not pleasant. More of a burning feeling, and that's what I figure this regular stun gun would feel like if you buy,
It's like a
cheap
cattle guard
$4.
or a cattle prod.
And being homemade, you deserved it.
Yeah, I
But as
said
far as
it hurts, but it's more of a burning sensation than it is sending a whole, making it spasm.
But as far as the whole EDC thing, you guys know cattle prods, I'm sure, especially if you have a farm and fleet or whatever. So what's wrong with having those? What's wrong with a little old lady having a little cattle prod where if some bunch of kids come by, that she can't just, turn on the switch and just touch them and they'll just drop? You don't see those marketed in there. I'm wondering why.
I'm thinking that it's very easy to have that, since it's only the tip, to have somebody swat it out of your hand or grab it out of your hand.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's true.
Especially if it's an old lady. I mean, now if the whole thing was electrified, that would be different.
Well, Bob has that cane. I guess there could be something like that. I guess that is marketed to people already.
Well, speaking of that, does anybody carry around a blunt, object like, a baton? Or in my case, I've been carrying around a monkey fist because it's a lot lighter than a baton.
I carry one of those too.
I carry a baton. I carry a baton in my bag.
Just in case somebody needs to be taught a lesson.
Yeah, also good for breaking up dogs.
Yeah, I used to carry an expendable baton for dogs, but honestly, I can't see carrying like a baseball bat or any kind of club, because at least in Arizona, you can return return the amount of force or the level of aggression or whatever, but I'm not going to get into a fight with somebody with a bat and just bring a bat. You know what I mean? I'm going to leave, or else feel the threat of my life and take it way beyond a bat, because there's no way I'm getting into a bat fight with somebody.
No,
Or
I
like
don't
a
want to
club
get in a bat fight either. But now that Chris has joined us, good guy with a gun 77.
Hello. So
You have training in the
on sticks, yes.
on sticks, so you definitely have a different opinion that you could use in that situation than, say, G-Webs.
The thing about also with the collapsible batons is you don't have to extend them to use them.
My problem with them is they're just so freaking heavy.
Well, you gotta pick the right ones. Also, I got the 12-inch one, and it's light. Now you gotta be choosing what you want to get to first too. Also, so sometimes some of the more inexpensive ones will break, but then again, it's better than nothing.
Because my friend gave me a El Cheapo, and I decided to try it out. And the first time I went to go and actually use it, and actually I hit something, the end piece, and I'm talking about the little metal ball at the end. I'm talking about the whole section just went flying after the first hit.
Yep. Well, my gosh, mine doesn't have that tip. Mine's a small one. I've already shown it. I'll grab it later on if I need to. But mine's a little smaller one. It has it doesn't have the same tip as a regular asp or baton. But it's yeah, it's just straight, mostly straight. And again, I don't. If I need to use it, I won't extend it until I need to. Until then, I'm going to use it as to strike nerve points.
As a striker.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Which does make sense. But does anybody else have anything to add that I might have overlooked?
Are you talking about what do you call this? Are you talking about like alternative self-defense?
No, just everyday carry, the stuff that, we've kind of went on, we're at the end of the list now. The stuff, that you carry with you every day, most important, what's next.
Well, I'm looking at these inexpensive ones. I saw a lot of Viper techs over there. I went to the gun show today, and I saw a lot of these small $20, not tasers, but stun guns. And yeah, I need to get me one of those. But mostly I have a knife and have a baton. So that's what I carry mostly every day. If on days when I can't carry, that's what I have.
No one mentioned spare magazine.
I carry that.
I don't carry a spare magazine.
Is there anybody other than Good Guy that does carry a spare magazine?
I do, but it just wasn't in my. I guess we haven't really gotten to the top 5, but it's not even in my top 5 of EDCs.
I carry one.
If we're ranking them.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna end the chat on that, and I was gonna have each person. This is gonna be the left to right. So that's why, if anybody's got something they wanna add, this is a good time because we're over an hour now. So I'm taking the silent as nothing. Nobody wants to add that. So I want everybody just kind of to do quickly. No explanations why, because we've already kind of done that through this whole chat. But what is your top 5 going in order from most important to least? And Daniel, you're up first.
Okay. So wallet, keys, phone, knife, and flashlight. Flashlight or gun, because I don't take a gun with me when I go to work, so it's not part of my normal EDC. The majority of the time I go out of the house is for work, so gun's not on my list.
Yeah, we don't have to list the keys because if you're leaving your house, you gotta lock it up somehow. So.
Okay, well then add the gun at the last of the list.
All right. Since we lost Lee there, we're gonna go to G-Webs.
So start with it first. So it'd be probably phone, then probably light, multi-tool, but that one's a tough one. And then, I don't know, gun and then wallet.
All right. Dano.
Cell phone first, and then co-equally would be my sidearm and my identification for that. And then my next category down, and again it's another co-equal thing, would be my either my multi-purpose knife or my pepper spray.
Ooh, no light at all.
No light at all.
Nope. All right. Chris kind of heard what people have said here. Do you got your top 5?
Oh, I actually do have a Streamlight Nano. It's on my keys.
1, of course, a brawler. That's what I carry almost every day, so with work. So I got a flashlight. That needs batteries. Well, I have an alternate flashlight.
Good flashlight.
Nice.
That'll should let you away.
What else do I have here? My baton is in here somewhere. There are holes in this thing. So. Oh, come on now. I was prepared for this shit.
If you'd like to schedule an appointment, I'll happily stick fight you.
Oh,
Please
yeah, you know
wait
what?
while I get the items out to beat you up with.
Oh,
This is why you want to have an EDC caddy.
rain poncho.
Wait, rain poncho is in your top 5?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm getting. Yeah.
I know. You're
prepared.
in Arizona, but still. You never know. That's the thing. You never know when it's going to come.
He's got a parka too, just in case.
Storms out there.
I have a, what do you call this? First aid kit in here. And, doggone, my baton's gone. Holy shit.
So we're gonna say baton.
Yeah, looks like my baton dropped. Fell out somewhere. Shit.
Probably in your car rolling around.
It's never a good thing when your baton drops unexpectedly.
Somebody's getting the shit beat out of him, and Chris is being framed for it.
So I'm looking for it. It's like, where's my baton?
So somebody's beating on Chris, and he's saying, "Just a minute, let me find it. Just a minute."
Well,
You know criminals hate to play fair sometimes, Chris. You're going to have to be quicker than that.
well, that's embarrassing. Oh yeah, my knife comes out. My knife's already out, so.
Well,
But
we're gonna take you where they did actually have a baton, and you're not making it up.
oh shush, I've had it. So.
Well, when you find it, you can come back in here.
No,
Let's see
it's
what-
gone. It's gone. It dropped, I think, because I had it on one of the side pockets in this thing.
So Cork did a public service by having this chat.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you never know. Axe.
Oh God.
That can be used as pepper spray.
Yeah, that's the burns if it gets in your eye.
Yeah. Oh,
That's it.
You'll be able to identify my rapist because he smells a lot like Axe body spray.
Well, you know, if you take a lighter and use the axe, you can use it as a flamethrower.
Yes.
That would work.
Do we see a lighter come out of there yet, though?
That is
No.
one thing I really, that's what nobody said at all in their top 5. That nobody said a lighter. At least I didn't hear.
Well,
Nobody
G-Web's
smokes anymore.
Yeah.
the smoker. Anybody else?
I do carry a lighter around, but not for smoking, but just for detail, 550 cord and.
Oh.
I live in the city. I don't need a lighter. I don't really need a lighter.
all right, Chris, you done?
I haven't done. My 550 cord's here somewhere. It dropped too.
All right, we're gonna move on here since Crystal's a train wreck, and
Well, I try to be prepared.
All those names out there you just educated is unbelievable.
You failed the gear check.
nothing fancy would have your hide.
Failed
Okay.
your check.
Okay, go ahead, Mule.
Sidearm, phone, quick deploy knife, and pepper spray. Never leave home without any of them.
It's only 4. What's your...
Well, when I'm at work, I wear body armor, so I never forget. I've done that for years. So
Hey, we got Geely, so Thimble, you're gonna have to wait here a second. Geely,
No,
we're just
that's
gonna
not fair. It was
listen.
my turn.
Yeah, I'm going in order of how they appear on my screen, and Geely's before you. I'm calling him
damn.
Geely as in the horrible, horrible movie, just in case you haven't figured that one out.
Yeah.
So, what is your top 5? Starting with the first.
Top 5 carry items.
Yep.
Number 1, I think. All right, so I'm under 21, so I don't conceal carry. So I'm gonna put that out there first. So my number 1 is gonna be a cell phone. Number 2 is gonna be a knife. Number 3, flashlight. 4, I don't know. I mean, that's really, other than just keys and wallet, pretty straightforward.
Well, it counts. So, yeah, the reason we're not listing keys is because if you're gonna leave your house and you're gonna lock it up somehow, you're always gonna have keys. Can't think of one more thing? Take that as a
But
no.
you might only carry that much.
Yep, that is true.
Perks
And
of not
now
carrying around a
it's
giant bag is that you only carry around stuff that fit your pocket.
now it's the Blue Lion's turn.
All right. Mainly, I'm under 21, so I don't carry a gun.
So, your mother's nipple.
Yeah, that too. I just carry a wallet,
Pinky.
my light, a multi-tool, and a lighter sometimes, and also pepper spray sometimes, depending where I'm going.
Those little retractable cords from mommy to the kid, does that count as the kid's EDC or the mom's EDC?
No, I have one of those leash things that goes around your shoulders and hooks up in the front. Mine's got Elmo on the front.
There you go.
I wear that most of the time.
You're more of an Elmo than a Cookie Monster kind of guy?
Yeah.
I'm not a baby. I don't watch Cookie Monster anymore.
Yeah, I'm not 5.
Yeah, well, for me, my top 5, and we're going to end it after this. My top 5, starting with number 1, of course, is my wallet. Number 2 is my cell phone. And those can almost be interchanged, but if I leave home without my wallet, then what I'm going to go do is pretty well pointless. So, cell phone, and then flashlight, pepper spray, knife. Or excuse me, knife, pepper spray, sorry.
So you'll stab that little animal before you squirt it.
Pretty much. I mean, gun would be the honorable mention here. That would be number 6.
Okay.
But I use my knife. I've only used my pepper spray once, and that was to test it out.
You prefer to stab it, but if you can't stab it, give it a spray, and if you can't spray, then the last thing you'll do is shoot it.
Right. But I'm saying in the situations I have, the pepper spray comes in last place because of I haven't had to use it, but there's a lot more chance I would have to use it than
I haven't had to use
firearm
either.
I'm talking about statistically. Yes. Any lobby host volunteers out there? When you hear this, let us know on the gun channels. I ran this chat. I'm not going to run another one. Simply, this would be a good time for you to make great impressions.
But for those of you out there that are wondering about tomorrow, if I can have a minute, tomorrow night's chat, the Sunday chat, which will be at 9 Central Standard Time, is going to be Facts to Fight the Gun Myths, Part 2. So
woohoo!
We did that a couple weeks back. We knocked off a couple categories. We're gonna continue on a few more. So Part 2 will be tomorrow at 9 o'clock Central Time. Facts to Fight Gun Myths, Part 2.
Which is a really freaking awesome chat, and it's been a month since your last one.
Yep.
And it was awesome the first time, and hopefully you're going to show up for this one because Daniel has missed his last couple Saturday or Sundays he was supposed to host.
Well, yeah, he's been absent.
There's been some issues, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. So I just want to thank everybody for coming out, and besides Daniel, anybody else have any last words?
I think Chris wants to say something.
Yeah, well, I'll just have to carry one of these from now on at least.
He's got his EDC now.
There he is.
We've got both of them.
Yeah, all right. I'll set up the lobby.
All right, awesome. Good guy with a gun 77 will be running the lobby. Everybody out there watching and listening. Again, thanks everybody, and good night.